All right, guys, Sorcery dropped a Contested Realm 2023 retrospective. We're going to be watching highlights from me just reacting to the video. Hopefully, you guys enjoy. Leave comments at the bottom. Make sure we're having these cool discussions. I know there's going to be a ton of information. Watch this video for yourself, as they do have a lot of other information that I probably didn't highlight in this video. Hopefully, you guys enjoy. See you next time.
What's your sort of the biggest issue that you remember from Kickstarter?
Well, it's just everything taking. Well, it's not just taking a little bit more time than expected, and it's not just taking the double amount of time that's expected.
It's good that they're acknowledging that, and that shows
Four
that they
times as
hopefully
long.
are
Like
working in the back
every
end to
little
fix
step
that for
takes a lot
for the
longer.
for the next set, right? Kind of tighten the screws down on the logistics aspect of it. That way, they going into it, they don't have those worries.
And there's so much hidden work that you don't really think about that happens, and then things that come up and you have to deal with them. But that's also interesting, just problem solving.
In terms of a lot of people are saying to us at the moment, hey, we really would like it if you can do more than one set a year. We've spoken about this a ton.
So here's the thing. I know a lot of people, and I paused there right where he looks like he's rolling his eyes. But I, I, I believe, I think that one set a year plus a mini set, but definitely just one core set a year. I think it can work with the right amount of cards in that pool, with the right amount of versatility in that set. So I'm definitely not skeptical as far as like, oh, Sorcery's going to die in a year. I don't think that's going to happen.
In terms of the work it takes to get things just right. Do you think there's ever an opportunity for us to do more than one set a year?
Well, I think it is important here to take the pace that the project deserves. So basically having a hard limit, a hard quality threshold that you can never go under. So yes, I would very much like to release more products and more cards and so on. But at the same time,
Here's the thing. I think also with the fact that this art is hand painted, it'd be very difficult for the artist to, do X amount of cards per set, and then you throw in, a couple of sets per year. Those artists would be swamped. They would be rushed. The art wouldn't be up to quality, and then what Sorcery is known for would be no more, right?
Just the core of the project is to have the product, like the quality really high, and every card having a purpose. Nothing is just added quickly for no reason. But with that said, we are set up to increase production speed, in the sense that under the hood in the company there's a lot of procedures, like for example the card export, like just the process of having designed cards in a spreadsheet and getting it to print files. We have a much more automated process now in place that will kick in starting with Arthurian Legends.
So that's good to hear, right? That they are planning to increase the speed at which they're kind of putting out these cards, but I think he's wording it in a way, as long as the quality of the cards, as long as the quality of the art isn't jeopardized, right? I think he is still putting the quality before just the quantity.
Fundamentally, the messaging in one set a year is the fact that we want to really have a really high bar for quality. The product needs to be absolutely excellent. There's no space for us to do anything less, because people now expect it
Yes,
after
this is
Alpha and Beta.
why
But that
I
said,
came to
if we
Sorcery.
can potentially become more efficient, if we can scale the team, then that makes sense. How does this compare to video games? Because obviously a lot of people are aware of your legacy with Grinding Gear games.
This is something that I'm actually excited to hear about, because as also a Diablo 2 player, Path of Exile player, I'm really excited to hear a little bit more about his background, on where he came from and how it relates to TCG.
Well, the company size and the way that. So with Path of Exile and Grinding Gear Games, we had it was a good 15 years to build a team and put procedures in place, and you have specialized people in every role after a while. But with Sorcery, then you jump to a situation where everyone kind of does everything, or like something has to be done, and you have, well, the people at hand just has to
Get it done.
has to adjust and deal with it, whatever the thing is.
So right here, I think he's definitely comparing sorcery to maybe like the newer when grinding games was a little bit newer, right? Like everyone wears multiple hats.
To first, you have a problem, and then you have to sort of find out how to solve it, like do the actual problem solving, instead of you already know the solution, and then you just implement
I
things,
think
and sort of
eventually they'll move
researching
away from
things
putting
and
out
so on.
fires
But you get
and be
sort
more
of the
proactive and,
specialization.
you know,
Yeah.
like you said, implementing things they already know.
One of the issues that we had is that we actually had to reach into some of the art pieces to use those as some of the promo cards, which people love, and it's kind of the charm of the project as well. Some of the, I wouldn't say missteps, but things we've had to do which were fairly sort of like non-deliberate, and then people have realized. I think one of the stories we love is obviously with the tokens, where there's a little bit of a mix up with the printer there, and they've become a firm favorite. So as we move forward,
All right, so this is what I've been talking about sometimes as I'm talking to people, and I'm, you know, showing them the game, trying to get them into it. I let them know, like, hey, here's a token, a baby token, cute, right? Everyone loves it. But it's also really cool to let them know the reasons behind that it was an actual issue, like a happy accident, right? Like Bob Ross likes to say.
talking about next steps, obviously Arthurian Legends is something we've spoken about quite a lot. And we've spent a lot of time on developing. Could you give us an update as to where that currently stands? How mature is that, and what kind of work do we have left?
We're waiting on the last few art pieces, so that's like one area that I'm really close.
Oh wow! So it looks like the art, at least that part of the development process, is almost done. Which, what say? I've heard around there it's like 200 or so cards. That's a lot of art.
This time around, we are actually very finished with the game design of things. I guess there will always be some really small tweaks all the way.
Oh wow! So not only the art is done, but also the mechanics of the game is what I'm understanding from that, unless I'm wrong. But seems like the cards, how they're gonna work with each other, how they're gonna work with beta slash alpha. Uh, Seems like everything's pretty much almost set in stone at this point. Is just like how you was saying, just tweaking some of the things before it's actually ready to release.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, if I can mention a sort of counterpoint to the draft and sealed here is that Arthurian Legends also has a incredibly large number of cards that will matter to people's constructed decks. Rarity
That's
system in Sorcery, where
good to hear.
we can push the power level quite a lot on elite and especially unique cards. So it can be quite a lot of cards that upgrade the deck without causing.
I am really excited for that aspect.
You don't want to get to a situation where you have 4 copies of a card where we sort of missed the balance.
Right. So in terms of balance, then looking forward, because obviously with an increased card pool, we're going to see more and more of this type of stuff. What's your preference in terms of how we deal with cards that are seen to be powerful?
Well, we would have kind of official rules and errata, but I would actually also very
That's
much
good to
see
hear.
people
Really
play
good to hear.
as they want to with house rules.
I get the whole play as you want to, house rules, kitchen table rules, but I've noticed that there's a lot of people that are really wanting to have a little bit more of a competitive um, edge to the game, which I think sorcery does naturally lend itself to that sort of gameplay. I think you have both, right? You can have a kitchen table experience as well as a little bit more competitive, especially because people are wanting to put out these tournaments, right? Whether it's on tabletop, like the season 3 that that's currently going on, or some of these events that are going to be at SwordCon, right? Sorcery convention out in Seattle. You're gonna want to go into those events. You're gonna play, and if there's certain interactions that are gonna win you the game, like we really gotta make sure that those are set in stone.
Hmm.
But with that said, sorcery is very robust against sort of abusive strategies. Again, coming back to the rarity system.
Moving into our dust plans, obviously those are things that are still in production. We're currently producing a whole variety of different rewards, and we can continue to commit to that moving forward as well. We hope people like what they've seen so far, and if there's any feedback or anything else that people want to see, please let us know, because
Definitely excited about what's to come when it comes to the dust store. The rewards that you're gonna get. Hopefully, I get to see more than just promos. I don't think they're going that way. I think they've stated, or at least Simon has, that they want to make sure that it's not just you can only get this card through this promo, and all of a sudden, people can't get it because they either don't have enough dust or they just don't know that part of the game. Some to look out into the future. I think as far as like playmats, apparel, soft goods, complementary items to the game, whether it's special die, special threshold mana counters, things of that sort, I think would be really cool down the future.
really it's to reward your time what you spend with the game, either through product acquisition, participation, or even achievement as well. So we like to be able to scale out those plans. With us, dust is I wouldn't say it's a risk, but it's certainly a gamble. It's certainly something that we feel the product demands, the project demands, for it to be seen to be special to people. We want to create this like system of loyalty that people can work towards. I guess that what we would like to do is really kind of like close the loop for
I
the
wonder where they
players.
got the name Dust.
I
I
think
think
it's
that
quite
is
clear that a lot of people like to
it's not going to
collect
affect anything.
sorcery,
I would
and we're
just want to
incredibly
know where
mindful
that
of
came
that.
from.
But we do want people to more people to be able to play it. I think when we get into the cycle of Arthurian Legends, our aim is to make that product more widely available for sure, so more people can enjoy it. Um, I think that just to sort of wrap things up, we talked about the highlights and lowlights, but what do you want to happen next year? What's your aspirations for next year, and also what's cooking at the moment? Because we keep talking about how we've kind of like finished one cycle for Arthurian Legends.
All right, I'm very interested to see what he's actually going to say. Seems like they're, threading the line with some of this information that they're going to be, kind of feeding us.
There's some vague plans even for several sets. So obviously I shouldn't mention anything here. But with the pipeline, the way it works, there's actually a fairly significant amount of art being made already for the next set after the Arthurian set.
Hmm.
And
Wow, I am surprised. I mean, going into it, I would be surprised, but he did talk about they're pretty much almost done with Arthurian's art and mechanics and development in general. So, it doesn't take a scientist to realize that they've already moved on to the next one, at least the pre-production aspect of it, right?
and a little bit of art even being made for the two sets after that. So
I've been reading the comments, and people always want to know kind of the future, because let's face it, people have committed to this being their hobby, and so I think it's fair that we become more transparent over time. It's a lesson that I've learned for sure.
and also looking for specific artists that fit for this set, or and even trying to find artists.
With that, I wonder what artists he's looking at from either Magic's history throughout the years. What artists kind of really spoke to him, or even new artists. If you guys have any ideas, please put it down in the comments. I definitely would want to have a conversation about who do you guys think would be a good choice for these next sets. Whatever that set looks like.
Well, we keep talking about the highly thematic nature of Arthurian Legends, this next set will be a little bit more open, which uh, it it gives a little bit more freedom to kind of attack game mechanics that the game likes. So as an example, there in an Arthurian set, you wouldn't have so much about the like cards that move sites around. Like the next set can be a little bit crazier mechanics wise compared to Arthurian Legends, even though Arthurian Legends has quite a lot of new cool stuff too. It's a little bit
Yeah,
more
it does.
grounded in that way.
It has some very special moments and some of the sites for sure. It's very enjoyable.
I'm
Like,
very
maybe
interested to see
oscillate
what kind of new
back to
mechanics
the
sites have.
now. Before we let you go, we're aware that people are always really desperate for more information. They always want to know more about what we're doing, and we've been quite reluctant to spoil anything because it's early on in the stage for our release cycle for Arthurian Legends.
All right, what are they going to say?
However, it's the holidays, and so we really hope that people can enjoy getting their family around the table.
Is this coming 2024? Wait, what was that? All right, let's pause that. Let's go back. Is this a sneak peek
because
at a
it's
card?
early on in the stage for our release cycle for Arthurian Legends. However, it's the holidays, and so we really hope that people can enjoy getting their family around the table.
All right, the round table. There you go. The round table must be cast to your back row. Whenever you summon King Arthur or a knight, sir, or dame to the round table, draw a card. Nice card draw. 3 mana drop. This seems like it's already going to be a pretty good card. Around, obviously, a knights or, dame deck. So that's already going to be an archetype. So knights, kings, or dame. I know we have the other king of the realm. We have the queen. I don't know if that is in the same vein as the dame or not. We that's yet to figure out. So it has to be in that same area for you to get that card draw. So I don't think it can't just be anywhere in your sites. It has to be in a specific site. The art in that card looks pretty cool. A dragon with the crown around its like neck, torso area. Who did that art? Margaret Organ Keene. And I'm assuming this right here is going to be the Arthurian Legends set symbol. So like an upside down cross. That is great. I love it. Even the back, right? Like you see these ornate pillars right over here. There's like a dragon and another dragon over here, a red and white one. Super cool. Super excited for this coming set, coming 2024. So we'll see when that lands. They're already talking about another one coming after it. What they're working on. Yeah, I'm excited to see more.